The internet once promised freedom, connection, and knowledge at everyone's fingertips. And, in part, it delivered. But along with the benefits came subtle and powerful traps. An avalanche of information, addiction to social media, spam, and that unsettling feeling of always being watched. Have you ever wondered why, after a quick search for a product, it follows you through ads all over the web? Or why social networks seem to know exactly what you want to see but leave you with a strange sense of superficiality? We're in a digital labyrinth where every step is monitored, where interactions feel less and less authentic, and where realness dilutes in a sea of likes, clicks, and calculated algorithms. For as connected as you may be, this reality raises an uncomfortable question. Are we truly in control of our online experience? While we're distracted, data brokers and algorithms make invisible decisions about what we consume and even how we feel. As a result, we're at the mercy of systems that know more about our habits than most people in our lives. Is it any wonder that even after spending hours online, we feel increasingly disconnected from something real? Want to understand how we got here? And, more importantly, how to reclaim control over your own digital choices. In the digital universe, the term spam came into being in a rather unexpected way. It originated from a Monty Python sketch, where a plate of spam, the canned meat, repeatedly appeared in a somewhat annoying way during a casual conversation. So, spam became synonymous with excessive and unwanted content. A part of the conversation you didn't ask for, yet you consume anyway. Over time, the idea was absorbed by the online world, referring to invasive messages, those that pop up out of nowhere, flooding our screens with promotions, emails, and products we never imagined we'd need, or didn't need at all. On the internet, this phenomenon took on enormous proportions, especially with the rise of social networks and digital advertising. In a world where connection is everything and online interactions have intensified, spam found fertile ground to grow. To get a sense of it, imagine someone opening their inbox only to find dozens of unsolicited messages, from exclusive offers to alerts that aren't always real. This social media addiction has brought with it the darker side of an increasingly interconnected world, where spam makes us think twice before clicking on any unknown link. This context of online overload has become so common that many people already view spam as part of the package when accessing the internet. After all, who hasn't received a limited-time offer in the middle of an important conversation? This is where the need for filters, strategies, and a bit of discernment comes in. Many rely on blocking systems and specific settings to try to reduce this bombardment of notifications, while others simply accept it as a fact of connected life. And, deep down, this unwanted presence seems to lead us to another point: the internet's own growth and how it has shaped itself over the years to handle the avalanche of content. In the 1980s, the idea of the internet was still an intriguing novelty, something that seemed far from most people's reality. As the years progressed, especially with the boom of the 1990s, the web gained strength and popularity, and connecting to the world became possible with just a few clicks. This growth was transformative. What was once a tool limited to a few has become one of the greatest technological revolutions in history. In no time, millions of websites emerged, along with a culture of sharing and discovery that transcends borders. Over time, the internet began to dictate a new form of communication. If we once relied on letters and expensive phone calls, now an email was enough to reach someone on the other side of the globe. This phenomenon shaped how we interact, leading to a level of connectivity few could have imagined. Today, in 2024, internet access is nearly universal, and the impact of this growth extends beyond communication alone. It has invaded all areas of life. From work to leisure, the internet has become the backbone of our daily interactions, including the rise of databases, where every click and every visit is recorded. However, this evolution has also brought new challenges. Amidst so much information and connectivity, social media emerged as the main arenas for interaction. But along with this world of possibilities came traps like social media addiction and the massive rise of spam. After all, the more people connected, the more opportunities for unwanted messages to slip onto our screens. And this scenario of hyperconnectivity and digital dependence opens the doors to another dilemma: the control algorithms have started to wield over our lives. The development of algorithms has transformed the way we interact with the internet. Initially, algorithms were like quiet guides, helping to organize information, but over the years, they became powerful guardians of our interests and preferences. Today, they do more than show what might interest us. They analyze our behavior patterns, recognize our browsing times, and, almost like a close friend, know what we like or want to avoid. However, this algorithmic friendship comes at a cost. The content we see is increasingly crafted to keep us connected until the very last possible second. The role of artificial intelligence within algorithms is also on the rise. It is now responsible for more than simply recommending a video or a post. It generates content, produces automatic responses, simulates interactions, all to keep us glued to our screens. This advance raises questions about the authenticity of online interactions, as not everything we see is human-made. And between what's crafted to engage and what's created to inform, there's a thin line that sometimes blurs. Who hasn't found themselves addicted to a sequence of suggested videos without noticing the time flying by? This reliance on algorithms to guide our digital consumption creates an environment where we are almost involuntarily drawn to what seems relevant. As a result, spam evolves into more elaborate forms, where unsolicited messages don't always come through email but appear subtly in recommended videos or sponsored posts. This dominance of algorithms sets the stage for the next challenge: the impact of this forced curation on creators and consumers alike. After all, when everything is machine-oriented, what happens to human creativity? Algorithms, which initially seemed like promises of digital democratization, now represent a new challenge for creators and consumers. By prioritizing what generates the most engagement, algorithms push content creators to focus on what is likely to go viral, not necessarily what is meaningful or authentic. For many creators, this reality means sacrificing creativity to follow a predetermined formula, where each post is crafted to please the machine before it pleases the audience. And this is directly reflected in the content, which often feels repetitive and, in some cases, almost like visual spam. Consumers also feel the weight of this imposed logic, as they end up receiving a flood of similar content designed to maximize clicks and likes. Imagine, for example, someone who wants to learn something specific but can only find short, superficial videos optimized for quick views. This lack of depth can be frustrating, along with the sense that the internet, which should be an almost infinite source of knowledge, has become a factory of distractions. In many cases, this dynamic even contributes to increased social media addiction, where the consumer finds themselves constantly searching for something that often doesn't satisfy. Moreover, spam and content standardization limit creators' freedom. Those looking to innovate often find themselves penalized by algorithms that prefer what has already proven successful. As a result, the room for the unexpected, the authentic, and even for mistakes becomes smaller. This pressure turns the internet into a constant competition, where the focus shifts away from free expression toward numbers, metrics, and engagement. And in this highly controlled scenario, new concerns arise about the authenticity of interactions and the real value of what is produced and consumed. The proliferation of fake traffic and spam has become one of the major threats to internet authenticity. More and more, bots and automated accounts simulate interactions, creating an illusion of popularity that deceives both users and content creators. This type of activity fosters an environment where the real and the fake blend in such a way that, sometimes, it's difficult to distinguish genuine interactions from manipulation. Imagine, for example, a post with thousands of likes and comments, where much of that engagement is purely artificial, crafted to promote an image of success. This problem not only damages user experience, but also impacts overall trust in the internet. The constant presence of spam and fake traffic turns our online interactions into uncertain territory, where any message received could be an attempt at intrusion or scam. With the rise of this type of increasingly sophisticated activity, people find themselves forced to adopt a defensive posture, doubting even interactions that seem legitimate. It's not uncommon, upon receiving a seemingly harmless link or message, to have that internal alarm reminding us of the risks of clicking without checking. Furthermore, spam and fake traffic directly affect how companies and platforms position themselves in the market. Many social networks, for example, are compelled to invest in security and technology to identify and block these activities, while users seek ways to filter what is genuinely worthwhile. This constant battle between authenticity and manipulation raises a new question: the role of intermediaries in controlling and protecting digital information. And inevitably, this leads us to a key player in this ecosystem, often invisible yet ever-present: data brokers. Data brokers are an almost invisible yet incredibly influential presence in the digital world. Operating behind the scenes, these intermediaries collect and store vast amounts of data on every click, every search, and every online visit we make. Their goal? To sell this information to companies that want to deeply understand us and, in turn, direct advertising or even shape our purchasing decisions. And this practice, often conducted without our explicit knowledge, raises important questions about privacy and the control we have over our own information. It's common for the average user to have little idea about the depth of data these brokers hold. From consumer preferences to behavior patterns, everything is categorized and monetized. With the rise of the internet and social media, this practice has only grown stronger, taking advantage of social media addiction and the constant flow of information generated by each new interaction. For consumers, this means that the ads appearing on their screens aren't as random as they seem, but rather the result of a detailed analysis of what they view, like, and even avoid. Additionally, this commercialization of data opens the door to spam and unsolicited messages. Who hasn't wondered how an unknown company got their phone number or email address? Often, this information has been sold and passed along by intermediaries, treating personal data as simple merchandise. This process creates a constant feeling of exposure, as if every online step is being monitored and recorded. And thus, the internet universe that once promised freedom and anonymity reveals itself to be a space where our information is less and less private. Now that you know the digital worlds behind the scenes, the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you keep browsing on autopilot or start protecting yourself against spam, the false sense of connection, and the invisible dominance of algorithms? Imagine how much your online experience could change if you became more aware and selective about where you dedicate your time and attention. Small actions, like better configuring your privacy settings or questioning interactions that seem too perfect, can make a huge difference. And more, how would it feel to have the internet working in your favor instead of the other way around? Why not only follow what brings value, disconnect from what causes stress, and, above all, reclaim control over your digital choices? This is a journey worth taking, and each step in it strengthens your power of choice. Are you ready to do it? Do you want to leave this game and learn more about how technology can be an ally instead of an addiction? If so, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, we'll keep exploring the best and the most unknown of the digital world, always focused on what truly matters for your life.